so let's go back to your original question, right? What are some of the issues? And this is how this came up, right? I think that because we are more aware now of how important civics is
Hmm.
to our life, how important policies are to our lives, with all the national attention and the national things that happen from George to the pandemic, that rallied people who would have never thought about voting, who would have who wouldn't even have thought about talking about it, or it was all over our televisions that it forced the most apathetic person to pay attention.
Hmm.
And so that's when I applied for the grant, the Central New York Community Foundation grant. And then I said, okay, this is it. This is the moment. I knew it. I felt in my heart. And I got that
You,
grant, that
you're a recipient of
41K.
the Black Equity and Excellence Grant.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I won 41K to develop out the remainder of the app, with the additional features that were the most important features, because now it's tied to the census track, right? So we know we are state, we are federal, which is like national, we are state, which is whatever state you live in, and then we're a local, which is either your city, town, or village, right? In your counties. Okay. So the census tract only comes around 10 times a year. Think about that. Well,
Hmm.
with my app, we also have a life needs assessment. And we can pull and analyze data centralized in specific districts right now,
Hmm.
and share those results with resource organizations and groups, right? Not just the ones, and this is our partnership with the CN. We also have a partnership with the CNY Community Foundation. We took their life needs assessment that they're working with local Syracuse
Hmm.
or nonprofit organizations, resource organizations, and we made it available to the whole entire nation,
Hmm.
right? And then so our role and what we intend to do is to say, hey, if you're looking to see what needs are, right? Because during this work of all the political work in the background that I have, it's not just community organizing. I've organized around policy issues. I've worked on campaigns for senators, and I've advised for campaigns for Congress people in different states, right? So taking that understanding and that experience and that knowledge and putting it all in this one space that's available in the palm of anyone's hands. Anyone from social services, they can get a phone. We call them Obama phones, but they're the SafeLink phones. We're now working on seeing if we can get the app automatically plugged in on those SafeLink phones, so that people have access to this and can take these needs assessments to
Hmm.
also have their voices heard. There's so many great things coming out of this, and it's nonpartisan. So we don't belong to the government. We don't belong to any organization. This is the people's app, and
Right.
I'm making it so that the people can also receive some and have investment opportunities on it later. We're doing a lot here. This is very innovative. There is no business model per se that we
Hmm.
was able to follow. I think myself and some of the others that have similar apps out there, we're all creating these models, and that's how new they are, right?
So,
And
so I get the app called Powerful Voices. Is that in the App Store? Is it
yes,
on
it's
Google?
available in Google Play and the Apple Store. Absolutely.
And it's just called Powerful Voices.
Powerful Voices app. Yes.
Wait, does it say Powerful Voices app or just Powerful Voices?
Powerful Voices app,
Oh,
APP.
okay, so you got to look for that because I see
Yeah,
something here that
we got to
says
put the name on it.
you got to put the name on it. Okay. Talking to Lekia Hill, she's a developer of Powerful Voices. How do you develop an app? Like, what is that? How does that? And what is it? A team, and you just have an idea, and how does it go from?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd
So
like to have something that people can tap into. How do you do that?
yeah, so Steve Jobs, everybody loves to talk about Steve Jobs. He's a recognizable name. He wasn't an app developer. He wasn't a tech developer at all. He wasn't a software developer per se.
Mm-hmm.
He had a team. It's a team of experts. He had a vision, an idea. He's great at designs and workflow like myself. And those of us who don't have those technical skills, that's the whole point of having a team. You find a team that can actually pull it off. And
Mm-hmm.
the Total Geekery team has been with me since day one.
Mm-hmm.
They believed in this and donated additional time and expertise to pulling this off, and trying to find ways to get this done. 6 years, guys, right? And so if you have an idea, That's what, by the way, Lekia Tech LLC is all about, helping consulting in this area now. So you have an idea of an app and of what you want to do, or you don't know if an app is right for you, which we can help you decide that. You tell me basically what you want it to do, right? You know, why you have the need, how you would like it to flow. You speak to a coder or a developer. If they're really good, they'll find a way to code it to operate for you in the best way possible. And we have this term that's really popular now. Most people know about it. They're algorithms, right? And so what we're building is socially conscious technology and applications, because now it wasn't back then in 2016, 2017, but you know, biases is transferring into the tech space more now than ever. So we call them now good algorithms and bad algorithms, or algorithms that aren't so good. So I would advise that if you are building a piece of technology, you have a socially conscious team that's building it, which we can help with that,
Right.
and ensure that as best as possible the space is fair, because that's what it's about. We're building, I'm one of the first building an actual tech-based civic ecosystem. We didn't have one that did not that's independent of government and or organizations. So this is the first one without investors. We have, thank God, the donor dollars, which they're not looking for a return on investment back for that, which is amazing and great for all of us, right? To kind of be free to create this space truly for all people, regardless of where they are. But if you look at our site, we say that we are concentrating mostly on disenfranchised and impoverished communities, like in a rural community, in urban Black and Brown communities as well. So we're focusing like civic education in those areas and everything with this app.
Sounds good. All right. Lekia Hill is the developer of Powerful Voices. Lekia, before we go, tell me about, you said there was a couple of things you wanted to talk about happening in the community around this work, and you wanted to take a deeper dive in that. What did you have in mind?
Yeah, so really quickly, I did some research and pulled some data over the last 4 years, 4.5 years, if you would say. So election seasons 2016 to 2019. Well, I wanted to make sure we captured what the voter turnout looked like in the 10th and the 15th wards right here in Syracuse. You know, so we're spending our time for this local election season right here at home in Syracuse, New York, concentrating in the 15th and the 10th ward. In the 10th ward, we've had an average of 1,800 registered voters with a turnout of just between, let's say, 750 to 824, right? Throughout the years of 2016 to 2019. In the 15th ward, though, where it's the Black and Brown community, where's the Black community, you had a little over 800 registered voters. That's extremely low for a course of 5 years, right? With a voter turnout of just over maybe 400 to 500, 380 to 400 and change, right? Because I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head right now, but that should be enough to make people go, oh my gosh.
Right.
So what we're doing right now is we're launching a Shake the Vote 2021 campaign, focusing on Generation Z, ages 18 to 24. We are having our first meeting next week on Thursday. What's Thursdays? We're doing Thursday at 7 o'clock at the Salt Market City.
August 12th.
August 12th. Thank you to On Point for College. I've been working with them with interns for the last 2 years, and my interns, they come back, they really believe in this. They go to SU, Oswego College. Some of them are just in the workforce right now and, you know, home healthcare aid. So their peers can really relate to them. This is a peer-to-peer campaign. I'm just helping the process and guiding the way. This is our most powerful generation, everybody, in the entire world, in the country, and even right here in our own community. And I'm very passionate about the youth. I know their power, I understand their power. I heard their voices over the years. I've done school exchanges between rural, urban, and suburban communities. My job was to listen to them and create something where that will last for them for pretty much a lifetime. And they believe in this. And so I said, rock the vote 2.0, they were like, what was that? Because remember, Obama had rocked the boat, and George Lynch, he was like, that's old. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna tell you, sis, I love you. I'm gonna keep it real. And so then he was saying, well, what about Shake the Vote? I talked to the team about it, and they were like, oh yeah, that's good, because Pop Smoke has Shake the Room. It's a song.
Right,
You got to listen to them, whether, despite what we think, this is about having people relate to the purpose and the mission, right? So we intend to show some increase in the local election coming up here in November in Syracuse. And it's a real big one. And we're going to get these youth out, and we're going to get the community motivated by seeing them to turn out. And we're going to see what Powerful Voices can do right here at home with a committed body of people who saying, yeah, this is a great campaign. And anyone can join in on the campaign. They're just going to lead it. That's our primary focus or target group, but this is for everyone, and just look out for it. And hopefully, George, you'll be able, once we start rolling out the campaign and the strategic plan, which is the people's plan, people will love to join in and continue to help, so we could actually make some noise this year in Syracuse.
30 seconds on your job outside of this work at Huber Brewer.
Huber Brewer. I am the Community Outreach and Diversity Coordinator at Huber Brewer Construction, one of the largest firms here in the Central New York area. Well, upstate, actually. We'll be 150 years old next year. I have an extremely supportive president of the company, my boss, Andy Brewer, who actually helped make my connection at the Community Foundation for the Life Needs Assessment, which actually exemplifies really great leadership, by the way. When you're a hybridpreneur, you have your own business, your own dream, your own goals, and you're working at it by day, but your supervisor or your boss, sees you and says, hey, this is great, and however I can help, I will, because they believe in also what you're doing. I oversee MWBE's, minority and women-owned subcontractors that work and perform on our work. I help ensure that we not only meet our 30% goal, which is required by the state of New York, that any company or organization that's using public dollars for the state uses 30% for women and minority-owned businesses. But we are also, I just created a protege mentorship program there, myself and project manager, Chris Barnes. We've been working on that. We have some amazing things coming out at Huber Brewer Construction. I will say, it is a process. I don't want to make it sound like it's all good and gold, because everyone knows that diversity work is extremely difficult. It's really hard, going into spaces, especially like the one that I'm in, to keep it real. But however, it works only because people want it to happen and they believe in it. And, you have to have, I tell people, you have to have tough skin. You can't really be emotional through this process. But as a Black woman, anyone can understand possibly how that can be difficult when you're in like heavily saturated white spaces. But if we are not, I will tell people this too, just from my expertise and my background, through my work in diversity and the consulting work that I do through it, is that if you don't see the buy-in is there, and you can see it, you can tell if somebody's doing it just because they have to, versus because they see there's a need, not even that they want to, but because they see that there's a need, then walk the other way. Because I've exhausted myself working with people in spaces where they want this to happen and they say they want it to happen, but they really truly don't believe or see in their heart that they need it to happen. And that's a big part of the stress that came in my life. So I know this station is not my therapist. I'm gonna stop right now. But
listen,
Huber Brewer is where it's at though for the construction work, because we actually do what we're saying we're gonna do, and it's not just me being a Black face, all the little things that people say, whatever. It's not just that, because we have a small group, and I believe it's going to grow, of people. We're working on the external, which is the MWBE, but we do have a lot of work to do internally, and we're looking at ways to do that too, doing more hiring for Black and brown colleagues at HB.
And Huber Brewer has been here 150 years. Probably did your church renovation.
Yeah, more than like they did the whole
Probably did
downtown.
your church.
Okay. Listen, I pray one day I was like, oh my gosh, if the Brewers write a book or allow somebody to just, if they're so humble, such a humble family, but I see it as a blessing to be able to be in that space and kind of learn, you know, and listen and see how
and you have
how
the
to run a
support.
really good company, right? And create a really good employee culture in there, not just necessarily about diversity, but just how to run the business. Yeah.
All right, Lekia, we got to go. But thank you, Lekia Hill.
You're
She's
welcome.
the
Thank
tech
you.
founder of Powerful Voices. She also told you about her work as a community outreach and diversity manager at Hubert Brewer Construction in the Cuse. And download that Powerful Voices app at
Download the app.
on Apple Store and Google Play. And,
yes, support tech founders, support Black tech founders, support women, support your girl.
Have you reached out to lastly, quick, have you reached out to like Karen Hunter on the Sirius XM, and they have a Tech Tuesday, so you guys should reach out to her producers.
Okay, I will.
On, because that's what she's all about, and so reach out to them and let her know about your app so that the nation, starting with Inspiration for the Nation, but the rest of the nation can learn about what you're doing. All right. So that's my assignment. Well, that's 2 assignments. You know what the other one is.
I know.
Inspiration for the Nation. Thank you, Lekia.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, George, for having me.